to my channel. If you're new here, I'm a software engineer and I love sharing bits of my life, how I balance my full-time work with teaching Pilates and multiple interests. So I've just been made redundant and I've filmed a couple videos about this, about my process and what I'm doing in this redundancy period. But today I just want to take you guys along and show you an insight into what I'm doing with my day. I'm still employed, so I haven't finished work yet, but there's pretty much no work to do. So I'm in like the 30-day period before I finish, and the time is pretty much mine. My whole project that I was working on has been scrapped. So yeah, now is my time to figure out what I'm doing, apply for jobs, stay productive, and just give you guys a little insight into what I'm doing, how I'm planning my days, and So one thing I really want to do while work is a little bit quieter is work on some side projects. And I know it's something that people say software engineers should always have. They should have side projects, examples of things they've done outside of work, but the reality is when you work full time, it is really hard to get those things done. So I'm actually quite excited now that I get a little bit of time to do some self-development work and just improve on things and work on a project that is mine and that I'm doing just for fun rather than for work because I have to meet a deadline. So I've got a little project in mind. I'm gonna work with a public API and just get a little Java side project going. I'm gonna start that this morning and see where I get with it. I've been doing a little bit of self-development work already and reading up on some technical concepts that again, I don't normally have time to read up on. So that's been really good so far. But now I want to start working on a project that leads to an actual tangible end result. It's nice learning your own thing, but it's even nicer when you have a project to work towards and something to show for it. When you can channel all that learning into a project, even if it's just for yourself, it feels more motivating because you have a goal and something to complete. So here I'm starting by setting up a simple Spring Boot Java application. I'm using Spring Initializer to help me do this. If you've never heard of it before, Spring Initializer is great for building a template project to get you started. You can import dependencies and there are many to choose from. You can always add more later, so it's better to start with just the minimum amount. I'm starting with installing Spring Web and Lombok. Then for my side project, I want to use the Spotify API. So I'm starting by reading the documentation. Their documentation is pretty nice in comparison to some other docs out there. So I just got back from teaching a Pilates class and it was so good, it was so fun. I don't normally get to cover or teach the lunchtime Pilates classes, but so today's class wasn't my normal class, I was just covering for someone else. But obviously it's quite hard normally teaching in the middle of the day when I work full time. So that was super nice. And I just feel like the energy is so different in a lunchtime class. It was quite a small class, but it was super good. The studio was free afterwards for a little bit, so I stayed behind for like 10-15 minutes and filmed like a little sequence. So on my Instagram, I post different Pilates reels and Pilates content. So I just filmed a little something for that. And it's so nice because I don't normally get time to use the studio in the middle of the day. So when I want to film my content, my time is very limited because obviously there's classes on before work in the early mornings, in the evenings and lunchtime. So the only times the studios are free are when I'm working, so the middle of the day. So super nice to be able to do that. And I can't lie, I'm loving my days right now. Like I'm having the time to do what I want. I have the time to code, to teach a little more, to film some extra content, and yeah, just be on my own schedule. Like, honestly, I'm loving it. Like, I'm actually in my element. This is how I love to work, designing my own day, designing my own schedule, and I'm still working so hard. Don't get me wrong, I don't have much work to do with my company, but I'm still coding and I'm still doing different projects. I'm still staying on top of everything, being so productive, and I'm working way longer than 9 to 5, but I'm loving it so much. And yeah, maybe I'm meant to like be my own boss or something in the future, because this life is for me. I love being in control of my own time and just having everything on my own terms, and yeah, that's not always possible. Don't get me wrong, I love working with people and I have nothing bad to say about the people I've worked with or anything, but I'm loving this change at the moment, so I need to just embrace these days because it's not going to last forever. And yeah, I mean, I'm still actually very nervous about getting a job, but for now I'm good. And so now me and my friend, who was also made redundant, we are going to work on some code together. So we're going to just go through some interview prep, some different coding tasks, and yeah, just do some exercises together just to keep our brain going and yeah, get job ready basically. So that's the plan for this afternoon. My friend and I worked through some leak code problems together. Not every interview uses leak code to assess candidates, and neither of us have had a leak code interview before, so it's quite new to both of us. We haven't studied leak code before, so we spent a lot of time just talking through some problems together, getting used to some of the patterns. Leak code is definitely one of those skills that doesn't come intuitively and requires practice. Since both of us are not expecting to be working at a company that will test us on leak code problems, we're taking quite a chilled approach to it, and we're just seeing it as a bit of coding practice. We're approaching the problems with an open and relaxed mind, which I think really helps. Leak code is definitely a skill that needs to be practiced. If it's your goal to be able to master the interviews or technical tests, repetition and continual practice is needed, but right now we're just having fun with it. Okay, so this whole job search process is so draining and so stressful. You can probably tell by all the spots on my skin. This is me wearing concealer, but you can still see it. That's how bad my spots are. Yeah, like anyone who knows, anyone who's been through tech tasks like this, you will know how intense it is. I've literally just now finished off an interview, which was an hour and a half, and to be honest, I think it went well, hopefully. I don't want to speak too soon. I don't want to jinx it, touch wood. But it's looking kind of promising. But yeah, these tests are no joke. Like, these interviews are no joke. This was my third / kind of fourth round of the process. And do you know what it is? It's frustrating because you put so much work in and you just might not even get offered the job at the end of it. I did a tech test, I think it was last week, where I spent so many hours on this tech test. Like, it was a take-home task and I spent days on it, like perfecting this. I thought I did a really good job, just being honest. I thought it was pretty good, but they were so harsh in their review and I didn't get the job. And like, fair enough, they can't offer everyone a job, but it just really sucks when you put in so much time and so many hours and then think you have to do that for every single company, and you have to do that on top of your life while also working. And I know I've just been made redundant, but I was working at this point while applying for jobs, and so I only finished my job last week, but knew I was getting made redundant before. So I was still working a full-time job while applying for jobs and teaching Pilates on the side, and still trying to maintain my personal life and take time for myself, go to the gym, train, do all my other things, and still, just wash my hair and cook for myself. And so you just don't get anything in return, and it really sucks. So now it's just a waiting game and on to the next one. I have an interview tomorrow. And also I applied for 2 jobs and haven't heard back from either of them. Stuff like that is also really frustrating because you put in so much work and don't hear back. And if you're in tech, you feel my pain. Just gotta grind through it, keep going, and hope something good comes out of it. And you know what it is? I've been telling myself that what's meant to be for me will be for me. So I'm not hoping I get this job. I'm hoping I get this job if it's right for me. If I don't get it, it's not right for me, and there's something better out there. So I've just got to think what's meant for me will come. I've been organising my days around specific areas to focus on different technical concepts and interview skills. Today, I dedicated my time to preparing for a technical, discussion-based interview. So I was refreshing my knowledge of lots of different technical concepts that are likely to come up in interviews. I found it helpful to create bullet point notes for each topic. This helps me remember the core ideas and key details that summarise each area, making it easier to recall during interviews. ChatGPT has been a great resource in this process, helping me summarise complex ideas and prepare with interview questions. For example, I ask it to suggest some interview questions that I can either try and answer or go away and revise. I can then ask ChatGPT to provide the best answers to these, which I'm able to check against my own understanding. And obviously you can't rely solely on ChatGPT to get you through your interviews. You still need to understand the concepts yourself. But it helps you prepare by providing you with mock interview questions. It's also useful to think of examples where you've used each technology and examples of where you have put things into practice. And obviously it's important you're able to explain these. I have also been preparing for a system design interview that I have coming up. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on this topic to help me with this. But as with most things, there's only so much you can get from just watching videos. I find the system design aspect really fun to work through, and honestly, I quite enjoy talking through the solutions. So I'll give myself different scenarios, or I'll look up problems online to solve on paper and see what solutions I can come up with. I've also been using ChatGPT to get some example system design problems to practice with, which has been super helpful. I prefer using pen and paper to write things out and visualize things rather than using an online tool. Then I'll compare my solution to examples I find online, or I'll ask ChatGPT how it would approach the problem and see how my solution differs to theirs. Sometimes I think there's literally no excuse for not being able to learn. You really can use ChatGPT to level up your skills. But the key is to make sure you try it yourself first before asking ChatGPT. We don't want ChatGPT to do everything for us, otherwise we won't learn from that. I know I said earlier that I prefer using pen and paper, but since I have an interview coming up, I'll need to draw out diagrams and solutions over a video call. So I'm doing that here just so I get used to that as well. I've used this tool several times before, but not in ages, so I just thought it would be good practice just to try a couple of solutions on this so it feels easier using it on the day. One thing I've been loving about this redundancy period is the flexibility to create my own schedule. I normally go to the gym before work, i.e. during peak times. Everyone is fighting for space and equipment, which drives me crazy. So now I'm taking full advantage of not needing to go that early. I've been getting on with my own work in the early morning when I'm most productive and going to the gym late morning. I've also been allowing myself to get up a little later. I've been waking up at around 7 a.m, which is still early for some people, but late for me. I'm someone who needs 8 to 9 hours sleep a night. The standard 7 hours is not enough for me, especially since I train very hard, often twice a day, with the gym, teaching Pilates and dance. So I now have time to get this proper sleep and I feel so much better for it. As a side note, who else agrees that working full-time makes it hard for us to fit everything else into our lives? I think it's highly unlikely, but I'm really hoping that the UK adopts a 4-day working week. If I had more time in my regular week, it would genuinely be used to have an extra hour's sleep every night. Sleep is so important, but it's often the last thing we think about and the thing we feel like we don't have enough time for. But everything improves once you're sleeping enough. Let me know in the comments what you do if you had an extra hour every day. So I just finished off an interview and it was horrendous, like honestly horrendous. I've never felt so embarrassed. Like, it was so embarrassing and like I was just itching to get out because honestly, it was terrible. It was really awful. And this is what's really difficult, is like you're under so much pressure in that one interview and you have that, like you need to be able to think of everything under pressure, but your mind just goes blank. And like normally I'm quite good at keeping my calm, but some of the questions they asked me were just like there was no way I was going to answer them. And they were just not giving me anything back. And yeah, I wanted to get out of there. May is so frustrating because, yeah, I don't even know what to say. Just like, they're so intense. These interviews are so intense. I just want to be offered a job so I don't have to do any more. Anyway, at least it's over. And at least I can say I've probably learned something from that interview. So no matter the outcome, it wasn't a waste of time. Yeah, like I'm sure things will work out. They have to work out. But yeah, right now just feeling pretty frustrated with this whole situation. But yeah, I'm just trying to be honest and I hope you appreciate that. There's no point me just pretending that everything is easy and everything goes smoothly all the time, because that's not the case with everything in life. So yeah, it is what it is. I've been working so hard and honestly it feels great, but I just need to be a little bit careful that I don't burn out, because I feel myself heading towards burnout. And yeah, I feel like I just need to pull it back a little and I should probably rest a little more. But I guess, I don't know, this is such a weird time, right? I guess, I don't know if you're in this situation, you'll be able to relate as well. But on the one hand, I'm so excited to have some time to myself and have some time off work. But on the other hand, it's like I can't fully relax 100% until I get another job. And I know I say I have this time off to, you know, relax, but that just doesn't happen, because my relaxing is moving at like 100 miles per hour, trying to fit in everything and so many different things. And sometimes it just feels like there's not enough time for it all. But I'm really trying, and it's a work in progress to, just listen to my body, which I am getting so much better at. But I need to just be careful that I don't burn out. And it's crazy because I will always find ways to fill my time. Even if I'm not working my normal 9 to 5, I will fill my days start to finish. And I mean, right now I have so much going on that it feels like I'm basically working like 5 full-time jobs. And for example, I'm being asked to teach Pilates so much, and I've had so many teaching opportunities recently across so many different studios and different events. But I think I need to pull back on that a little and just say no to some things. And I just really need to prioritize still getting a job and coding and working on that, which I am, but I need to probably not take on every teaching opportunity so that I don't burn myself out, because this stuff is the priority for now. Here's me having another coding session with my friend/colleague. We again did some leak code, and we first spent time talking through the problems and how we'd solve them. This is before we do any coding. Sometimes we agree, and sometimes we have different ways of approaching the problem. So it's really nice to learn from each other. Then we choose one of the approaches and start coding that together. I think pair programming works really well for leak code problems, especially since it's very new to both of us. So I just got a call from the recruiter and I've been offered a job. I'm so happy. And this is crazy. And it's crazy because I've been filming today and saying that I'm really burnt out, and I'm just so done with this interview process. Like, I just wanted to be offered a job ASAP because it's really long and really tiring. And now I've been offered a job. I'm so happy. And honestly, this whole process has been pretty quick in the grand scheme of things. Like, I only finished my job less than a month ago, and I've already been given another job. So I'm so grateful. But I've worked damn hard at this, and it just feels so good. I can finally just breathe. There's a weight off my shoulders, and I can finally just have a bit of time back to myself without stressing. So that's the update. This job search is over. I'm so happy.